How you doing, everyone? Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. In this video, I'm going to review my experience with Vipassana 10-day retreat and meditation. Now, for those of you who don't know, Vipassana is a 10-day silent meditation retreat. 9.5 out of those 10 days are silent, so you don't speak, you just meditate 10 hours a day, and there's a 1-hour session in the evening that sort of explains a bit more about the philosophy and the technique, and how to improve your experience while you're at the retreat. So a couple things about it I'm gonna share here. It's really big now. It started in India, but it's all over the world. Obviously in India, but in Asia, Europe, America, anywhere you will find plenty of retreats. In some small countries they do it like once a year, twice a year, and then some big countries like the UK, there's 2 centers, maybe even 3, and there's retreats every few months for new students, for old students. Old student is basically someone who completed the first course. The course is minimum 10 days, but once you've done 10 days, you can do 20, 30, 40, even I think they do up to 60 days. And also, one of the good things about it is that it is free. Yeah, so you don't need to pay for anything. And there's an option to donate. Okay, you're welcome to donate for coming to the course, and it's all up to how much you can afford, how much you feel you can afford in the moment. So it's very much rooted in this foundational kind of very basic idea of spirituality, that spirituality is given for free. Okay, which is, I think, just brilliant, sets a very good intention, and then if you benefited, if you want to, feel free to give as much money as you want. And some people give a couple hundred, usually 50, 100, 200, couple hundred euros. But there's been some donors who are millionaires, and they're given like couple million euros to buy and build a whole new center. And there was one being built in Lithuania at the time when I had done that retreat. What else is kind of key about it? So the key rules when you're at the center is basically you have a vegetarian diet, so you can't have any meat. You can't steal, which hopefully most people do. You can't do any sort of sexual activity. You abstain from telling lies, which they said that they've tried in the beginning just to tell people, hey, stop lying. What they found is most people are such compulsive liars, and so habitually constantly lying about something, that they've changed that to noble speech, which is basically silence. Because it's easier to just tell people to shut up than to tell them to stop lying, and to abstain from intoxicants. So there are no intoxicants available there anyway. So the thing about it is Vipassana is a retreat, but it's not a holiday. You go there, you meditate 10 hours a day, and it's not the easiest thing. Some people get quite frustrated with it. Now, the main thing about it, I'm just going to move myself out of the way slightly. The main thing about it is that samadhi, which is control of the mind, which is the process of meditation, increases your panya, wisdom, which then in turn increases your morality. And so then with that new morality, you come and meditate again, and so you're kind of going on that wheel of pathway to nirvana, as they say. So there's no preaching, in the center they have these rules, but when you go back to the world, they're not telling you to live in that way, unless you really want to commit to the lifestyle. But what they say is, just by meditating consistently, you will arrive to those conclusions yourself anyway. You will not need to steal, you will not need to lie, you will lose need for violence. But they're not saying like this is how everyone should be, feel free to do whatever you want, and then life will show you whether that's right or wrong, or works for you. On the inside, it looks really, really simple. It's just cushions, people sitting down on cushions. Just loads of cushions. Everything's very easy. You can have blankets as well. So it's quite comfortable if you're used to sitting down. If not, it can be quite painful. Now, why did I enjoy it so much? I think it still was. It was like a holiday, but it was like an intense holiday. When I got there first time, I also had a cold, so it was really challenging first couple of days, because they said, look, you have to do nose breathing and everything. Although they did not say that you have to, but it's recommended to breathe through your nose, which I would struggle a lot because the nose would get blocked up. But it went away after a couple of days. What I really enjoyed at first was silence. Just no talking, felt really good. No phone, no contact with anyone, just silence. And after 3 days, I think I really got to appreciate the silence and how much more silent we could use here in the Western world. Just that fact alone made a difference. And slowly, as they progressed, I started, getting more into the meditation. Now, for me, it wasn't extremely difficult. I know for some people it's really difficult if they never meditated and they never sat down and cross-legged to come and start meditating 10 hours a day. Okay, I've been kind of preparing myself with, and it doesn't sound even that much now, but I was probably doing 2 20-minute a day meditations before my course, which is nothing compared to 10 hours. But I was kind of comfortable with the idea of sitting down and doing something with my attention or focus or contemplating or whatever. It wasn't as much of a shock as it is for some other people who never touched any sort of spiritual practice. I think the main thing that stuck with me since the retreat, it was about 4.5 years ago, is it instilled the foundations of meditation. It got me quite comfortable with sitting down, even though I wasn't able to I didn't continue practice consistently of Vipassana. It really got me comfortable with the idea of meditating 1 to 2 hours a day. It really got me comfortable with the idea that I can sit in that position with my body, and body's gonna start aching, and that's okay. I'm gonna stand up and walk it off, and it'll be fine. Because sometimes legs feel like they're gonna fall off, but it doesn't actually happen. Never happened to me, at least. In the moment, on about 6th day, the best thing that happened to me is I got this really good film idea. It was probably my first inspiration into that I should start writing, and I should make that film happen. It's a film about a monk, funny enough. Obviously I was living a monk lifestyle. And maybe I was not supposed to remember that, because they say on Vipassana, just keep meditating. Your brain will throw loads of different distractions at you, but if you keep going, you will get deeper and deeper. Which I did, which I kept doing, yet that specific idea I think I'm gonna keep for myself. What was really challenging at times, and I think I understand why some people say it's maybe not for everyone, is you really understand how much your mind can play with you, okay? Because I had all sorts of visions, and at some point I even had intense visuals. When I was moving my attention across my body at different times, I would sometimes think I saw Buddha, or I have a very, very vivid hallucinations of a snake, like really, really three-dimensional, probably even better than real life. I had all sorts of fantasies about my girlfriend, who I haven't seen by that time already for a week. I had all sorts of dreams about the future, the past. There were also very visions. Some of the visions were like disturbing, like horror movie with gore and blood and violence, and there wasn't much control of it. But I think having really gotten that, just keep meditating and it's all gonna pass, really made a difference. I read some reviews on Reddit, and some people say that they got some blood and violence visions in their mind, and then they left, and then these stayed with them. What they say in Vipassana is they perform a surgery on your mind, and you have to stay for the full 10 days to really get the effects. And I think it really makes sense. So for anyone thinking they can go for a few days and leave because they got something else to do, it's not going to work. You got to commit for the full 10 to actually have a breakthrough. Because like what happens on the 9th and then the 10th day is intense. I had this, I never sat down so long in cross-legged position. So on about 6th, 7th day, my back started hurting a lot. Maybe even on 5th, but it was hurting a lot, like intensely. And as I kept going, at some point on the 9th or 10th day, it felt as if somebody like hit me with an axe in my back. It was that painful. It was that intense. And at some point throughout meditation, the pain that was like almost like making me want to slouch and kind of bend my body to stretch it out or something, just through process of meditation it disappeared. Just like poof, like it was never there in the first place. And I don't know exactly how it works, but it did. So that was incredible. I think overall is a really, really powerful technique and a really, really powerful retreat. What was missing for me personally is some yoga, some stretching, some exercise, some sort of other activity. And maybe the course is just designed for that, not to be mixed up with anything else. Just simply one technique, and that's all. And if you want something else, you keep looking elsewhere. And I think this is one of the reasons I kept searching for something more about yoga, so I could also learn asanas, postures, and different breathing techniques, because I felt like that's one of the few things I wanted to learn. But as just the technique of sort of advanced mindfulness, I guess, or focus, we can call it probably focus. As a technique of focus, it is probably the most effective in the terms of scalability of it, because the size they've managed to grow is really incredible. Now, if you never learned any meditation technique, I really recommend learning that one, and really seeing where it can take you. And if you like it, continue with it, and if you don't, look for another one. But these 10 days will be transformational, regardless of whether you continue that meditation technique for the rest of your life, or only for a few months, or only for those 10 days. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you've done Vipassana, what you think of it, or if you're going to do it. Like, subscribe, share. Have a lovely day.